are they orchestrated by political rivals? I must say it is true in some instances that rivals within the same party, I think our study also revealed similar findings, that officials or politicians within the same branch of the ANC ferment these grievance and incite people to protest, because what you have essentially is a politics of factionalism. If you win, it means I lose. It's not the ANC that wins, it's Carl winning and I'm losing. And the idea is that I get back by any means necessary. So, and it's partly because office has become a source of employment to these folks, which is not surprising, because some of them are individuals who would otherwise not secure a job anywhere else. A local government SETA, for instance, did a survey of auditing people's qualifications in 2011 at the start of this current term, and realized that about more than close to 30%, 40% of councillors had not finished matric, and about 25 to 30% of them did not have post-matric qualifications, and a tiny minority of them had post-matric qualifications. So you have folks here without papers, as they say. So political office becomes the source, the channel to making a living. And it's a matter of life and death. It's a matter of life and death, hence they are willing to employ any means necessary to get there. So what you have as well, which relates to the point I raised earlier about municipal instability, is the idea or the phenomenon of Puma Singene. They appoint you, they elect you a mayor, after a year or two, they chuck you up. You've made enough money, step aside, it's my turn, you serve. This is meant to last for 5 years, isn't it? I think so, yeah. 5 years, but they've redefined the duration of terms into 1.5. So it's a Puma Singene scenario, come in and act, which of course leads to instability, and what it has done essentially is to reduce politics into that instrumental level, that it's about making money, it's about wealth, it's about an income. It's not about cultivating a certain set of values, creating a space so that we build a different society, we cultivate a certain set of values that would define our society. It's simply about me and what I get out of it. Politics means it has become a divisive force. It's not a public platform where we as citizens come to discuss and talk about the issues that concerns our community, especially at a community level. For any community problems to be resolved, you need the community to be engaged, you need collective action. But if the public space where people are supposed to meet has itself become divisive, then you limit the possibility of collective action. Parties, some of our findings, parties accentuate racial tension, they become very desperate. You might recall last year sometime in Grabo, apparently the DA sent an SMS to local people saying the colored people apparently needed to mobilize against Africans because Africans. So that I have about 4 minutes left by now. I'm nearing conclusion. This is probably my second or third last slide. Part of the reason, and this has been going on here in Johannesburg, part of the reason why people are so dependent on the state is that we're not doing well in terms of promoting, making opportunities available for people to become self-sufficient, especially informal traders. Joburg has been very harsh against hawkers and informal traders because they have this fancy idea that they want to be clean, the best city in Africa. And the idea of a best city, clean city in Africa is one without hawkers on the pavement. I understand that people have to renovate buildings and some of these hawkers don't have facilities to relieve themselves, but surely the solution cannot be to shut them down completely, especially if you have such high levels of unemployment. And you have a situation as well in places like Grabo, where people, especially fishermen, complain that the fishing industry is dominated essentially by established fishing industry or people. They don't get sufficient access, the quotas are not enough, their licenses are cancelled abruptly without sufficient explanation. So what you have essentially in the fishing industry is that the local fishing people, because it includes women as well, so you can no longer say fishermen. So fishing people, their thing is essentially about subsistence. They fish to live, whereas the established industry is commercial, they make money. So what you are seeing here is that they're promoting inequality. We cannot use our natural resources, they complain, to uplift ourselves. Other people who already have advantage are exploiting these resources even more to enrich themselves. And there's also bias, especially in these coastal municipalities. Rich towns, I must say, municipalities are accused of showing bias for property developers, for instance. People are being encouraged to sell their homes, to move out, to make spaces for golf courses. And there's a sense that these, especially towns like Hermanas, are being prepared to be, residences for rich white foreigners, for instance. And this creates a lot of resentment. As I conclude, perhaps, with my recommendation, I'll just skip a slide. How do you eliminate patronage politics, really? Well, I'm sure there are certain things that can be done. Whether or not they can eliminate it completely is something else altogether. But certainly, citizens must be aware of their rights so that they're able to preempt abuse of power. They must be clear of what the Constitution allows them, and must be vocal. You need an active citizenry. You need a vocal citizenry. Party funding is obviously another contentious issue because money has taken over politics, and it's not doing it for good reasons. Promote integrity of institutions. What is happening, one of the worst things that is happening here is that if you have a compromised, dysfunctional political party, those practices are likely to spill over into the municipalities. Because the behavior that we learn within the party, because the party and the municipality essentially operate along the same line. They are democratic institutions and they have rules. All institutions are underpinned by rules and hierarchy. So if those are undermined within the party and one learns that behavior, that anti-institution behavior within a party, they go to municipalities, they act the same way. In places like Lusigi, for instance, at some point they would switch off the lights and beat each other up. And there would be gunshots within a council meeting. Hanekom has been sent there. Derek Hanekom is an ANC employee in the Eastern Cape. He's been sent there a couple of times, and he's had to, run away from gunshots and blows, And this is a behavior learned within a party, and it's now being transported into municipalities. Lastly, we need to eliminate factionalism. Factionalism is destroying parties. You cannot continue to have a situation of winners and losers. people, members following individuals instead of standing by the party. And if the party excludes a certain individual of their liking, then they protest. So those are some of the things, some of the problems perhaps that we might need to work on in order to eliminate this scourge. Thank you.
Good morning, thank you. Hi, good morning, thank you. Just a comment on your last slide, especially. I would say that the issue of factionalism is very, very difficult to eliminate. I worked in local politics in our local city government in Asia a long time ago, and we could see this factionalism was there, as obviously exists in the states at the local level. But those first 2 or 3 points are extremely important, because I think as you note there, the idea of making things more transparent is critical, and having citizens understand their needs, understand their responsibilities and rights is critically important to calling these people to account. And as we all say, that the best sterilizer is the sun. Sunlight is the best way to sterilize something. You must open the books so that people can all see them. But those kind of campaigns, I think, are possible. And it's the thing that 100 years ago in very corrupt city politics in New York City, it was only those efforts that actually ended that kind of political boss system at a ward level. That was the only thing, was having the media, reporters who were able to investigate, empowering the police and other law enforcement agencies to be able to apprehend crooks and those kind of efforts. So I think those are clearly things that South Africa can focus on. And those other issues may follow from it, especially with factionalization, but you have to get to those first 2 points first, in my opinion.
Thanks for words. We'll take you around in about 3 or 4. So, yeah, right there.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Mcebisi, I'm a law student. On the issue of the capacity of mayors versus the skills of city managers, in your projection, how do you think will that imbalance abilities of ensuring that in selection of candidates into responsible offices, maybe political parties could, going into the future, be required to ensure the skill of the candidate, especially in the leadership of these institutions? The second question relates to survival strategy, but only on the local economic policy. If we were to go about the much talked about national growth path, which to me is a creation of IMF by Outlook, could that respond to the challenges of economic development in a proper sense? Finally, on the issue relating to elimination of patronage, which is your final point under recommendations, to what extent could you eliminate that tendency when it is embraced in higher offices than the local politics? Because these patronage politics are exactly the driving force in any conference where you go to, in any congress that you go to. Any person who has a sharper thinking in relation to policy development, that person is in a very short space of time measured and placed into a particular coffin only on ideological orientation by people whom do not have grounded principles on developing the society but developing individuals. Thank you.
Sorry, I've got a hand up here at the back, and then another hand at the front, and then we'll do another round. Okay.
Thanks. My name is Mcebisi Ndletyana from Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. it's not going to be correct to dispute most of the issues that have been raised on patronage. But at the very same time, what the research, I believe it should be taken as an addition. The interventions that have been made by the governing party or the ruling party, which is the African National Congress, is to adopt or establish a community development work program where we have community development workers. The most unfortunate thing that is currently happening throughout South Africa, based on the legacies of the past, is that most of the people do not even know that is the research that has been made by community development workers. That people do not even know their awards in the first place. When they need services at some stage, they do not even know their councillors. This is based on the fact of the mixed politics that are currently existing in nowadays. Particularly ANC councillors in most cases become a victim of saying they are not educated, they have not passed the standard 10 and so forth. But the fact